Hey, what's up guys? So we are going to be doing a deck profile on the Vengeful Servant OTK deck that I played a few days ago, and honestly it's a pretty consistent deck, even though it looks like it's very conjunctional, meaning that it requires a bunch of cards to actually pull off the combo. A lot of the cards in this deck actually search out other cards, and there's a lot of potential draw power. I say potential because Cup of Ace is a pretty sacky card, but technically it doesn't matter how many cards your opponent has in their hand, because they can not really respond to your OTK, because Effect Veiler, Max C, and a lot of other stuff that they will draw won't really matter unless they happen to have Herald of Greenlight, but that's a very non-meta card. But anyways, if you guys haven't actually checked out the duel, I recommend you guys to check it out, because you can kind of see how the deck works and how consistent the deck is to actually pull off. Like I said, it is kind of conjunctional, it requires a bunch of cards, but there's a lot of searching in the deck. But anyways, let's go ahead and finally get started with the deck profile. I'll explain the choices as we go along. So first off, we have triple Malefic Cyber and Dragon. He's kind of required for the OTK. And then next up we have triple Mystic Tomato. You do need a plant in the graveyard to actually pull off the OTK, so it's just Mystic Tomato prevents you from getting OTK'd, and it's just like a plant that can go to the graveyard. Next up we have Lone Fire. I know it's going to 2, but for now you're just putting it at 1. You really don't need more than 1 plant, because when you go for your OTK you only need 1 plant anyways. And then last we have Dandy, because Dandelion lets you stall, and stalling is always good. Next up we have triple Card D. This just allows you to get more draw power in. And then next up we have triple Mystic Box and triple Creature Swap. You need one of these to actually pull off the OTK, whether it's Mystic Box or Creature Swap. It doesn't really matter, because you're not going to attack with a monster. You're not going to do anything with their monster. I mean, if you can take their Dark Arm Dragon, maybe pop a back row or something like that, hey, that's definitely awesome. But basically they do the same thing. You just want to give them Malefic Cyber and Dragon. Next up, triple Cup of Ace. This deck is basically made to just sack your opponent anyways, and your opponent can't really respond to it. Like I said, it doesn't matter if they draw Effect Veiler, it doesn't matter if they draw Max C. Other than Herald of Greenlight, there's really nothing they can do, because you're not going to be declaring the an attack with this card anyway. So there's very few things that they can do once this card is already out on board, and you're going to be going for your OTK, unless they have an MST set, and a lot of meta decks right now aren't even really playing MST. Next up, we have triple Hidden Army. This is why the deck is actually so good, because you don't technically need your normal summon in this deck, so it doesn't really matter, and you're just going to be able to just go from Malefic Cyber and Dragon, then search out for whatever you need, and then just OTK them. Next up, triple Terraform, because it's Terraform. This card's amazing just because it searches out a lot of stuff. It basically searches out, your field spells, which is required for the OTK, because you need Malefic Cyber and Dragon. Next up, we have one random Dark World of Dealings, because I figure, it's not a bad card. You can definitely bump up the count of this if you really want to, because it lets you put a plant in the graveyard, which is also nice, because it's required for the OTK. And if you send Dandy, hey, you get 2 tokens, which is pretty awesome. Next up, we have Gold Sarc. This deck can pull it off. I would say the most turns that have gone by where I actually couldn't OTK was 5, and at that point, usually you'll end up losing against some decks that just OTK, but there are cards that technically help you stall, so they have kind of some utility, like Ancient Forest and Black Garden. They not only provide a field spell for Malefic Cyber and Dragon, but they also allow you to kind of stall your opponent out for a little bit. Next up, one Foolish Burrow, just Foolish Dandy. You get 2 tokens, keeps you alive, puts a plant in the graveyard. Next up, triple Vengeful Servant and triple Mark of the Rose. They are required to pull off the OTK. Plus, you have these to search it out, so it's pretty consistent, like I said. Next up, Seal of Orichalcos, because it's Seal of Orichalcos. This card is awesome. Next up, we have 2 Black Garden and 2 Ancient Forests. These cards are basically used to stall, depending on the matchup. Like, there are some decks that don't care about things like, for example, Gladiator Beast might not care about Ancient Forest, so in that case I'd probably search for Black Guard, even though they probably just go best here and pop the card anyways. But I figure just 2 and 2 I think works pretty well. Now I do want to mention that sure, there's that quote-unquote downside of when a monster's normal special summon, its attack becomes halved. Now that doesn't really affect the OTK in this deck, because Vengeful Servant only makes them take the original attack, so they take 4,000 regardless of this card, even if they use, what's a card that makes it, like was it Shadows? No, Shadow Spell reduces it by 700. There's whatever card just makes it so they have 0 attack. It doesn't matter, because Vengeful Servant is going to make them take the original attack, and its original attack is 4,000. So it doesn't really matter. So first off, I just want to basically point out what is required for the OTK. So what you need to do is you need a field spell. So regardless of what field spell you have, let's just say for example, we're going to use this. Oh, as far as the extra deck goes, you only need triple Malefic Cyber and Dragon. Everything else is here just to make it look like I have an extra deck. That way they don't really expect it coming. They think I'm playing like Malefics or something like that. But anyways, you need a field spell. You need Malefic Cyber and Dragon, and then You need Mystic Box or Creature Swap, whatever one that you happen to have. You need Mark of the Rose, and you also need Vengeful Servant. Now I know that you're thinking like a 5-card OTK. That's pretty difficult, but the thing is, you have a bunch of draw power. You have bunches of cards that search out other cards, and the deck honestly is pretty consistent. Oh, you also need a Plant in the graveyard, but that doesn't have to be in your hand. But yeah, it's actually pretty consistent. Like I said, it looks crazy, but try it for yourself if you want to, and your opponent will probably be pretty upset about losing to this, because I know I would be upset if, I got a Malefic Cyber End Dragon and then all of a sudden my opponent takes it right back and then it gives it back to me and I take 4,000 damage each time. It would be hilarious to actually see this go off in a tag duel, because I was thinking, I'm not sure if this effect actually stacks. I would assume it is able to actually stack, so if you have multiple Vengeful Servants, they would then take multiple, times of 4,000. So I'm thinking in tag duel, if you're able to equip double Vengeful Servants to your Malefic Cyber End Dragon, they would take 16,000 points of damage, which would be hilarious. And I need to do that relatively soon. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Azneyes signing out.